Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the second coming, this is the return of Code Breaker 146. I was doing an imitation or an impersonation of Chris Jericho when he returned in the year of 2007 on Raw to mouth off at Randy Orton in his title reign. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not even here to talk about my return. I'm here to talk about TNA. Now, I got this shirt when I was at the Impact Wrestling show in March this past year, and I had a really good time. I mean, I saw Magnus, Samoa Joe, uh, you know, Jeff Hardy, Team 3D in a tag team match, Briscoe, D'Lo Brown, and Christian York before he got fired, and I'll get to that later on. And Robbie E, and unfortunately Joseph Park, just some other guys that I just saw, like Gail Kim, and of course Velvet Sky. Woohoo! And man, I had a great time, but I'm scared that TNA will not be able to entertain me anymore like they used to. TNA has been on a downhill spiral ever since they brought in Hulk Hogan in 2010. Now, I loved and I miss TNA, the old TNA, when we had King of the Mountain, we had Jarrett, we had Joe and Angle, we had Sting, we had the Instant Classic, Christian Cage, Tyson Tomko, Abyss, guys like that were always in these progressive storylines in the X Division. My God, the X Division, the great matches that they had, that every single night they would put out just a great show, and I loved watching TNA in that time. But ever since that old TNA old TNA is dead, and the old TNA will never come again. I'm sorry. I just want to let you know that right now. I mean, they got rid of, and I know that today's wrestling business is very, it needs those Titantrons to be more glitz and glamorous and to be more, how should I say it, apparent with the things that we see today with WWE, just to compete with WWE, to make it look like a real business or a wrestling business that's they're legit. That old TNA is gone, and then I think that it kind of died in '09, like the end of '09 and the beginning of 2010 when Hulk Hogan came in the picture. And ever since then, Hulk Hogan was supposed to be the saving grace of the company, but there's nothing that came out of it besides they brought back the Outsiders. I mean, the Nasty Boys, all these other guys, and the storylines have just been terrible. I mean, there's nothing really interesting in TNA anymore. I mean, there's nothing at all. The Immortal thing was at first, but then it just got stupid after a while, and everybody just running around trying to get an Immortal, like freaking Gunner, and who was the other guy in there? I can't remember. And then like stuff like that. But TNA was great. I mean, it was a really good product, but now it's just terrible. I mean, you had Hulk Hogan coming here, who's going to be the saving grace of the company. We all thought he was going to make much money. They were going to compete with WWE. Because I really wanted to see TNA be able to compete with WWE, because competition drives Mr. McMahon so far. And me and Anything Goes show talked about it on a Skype call, talking about TNA's problems. And this is my sort of it's inspired me to do this video, and a lot of people have been doing these videos and stuff. And then, anyway, back to what I was talking about. I've always wanted to see TNA compete, but when they brought in Hulk Hogan, there really wasn't there to do. There wasn't much to do at all. So then they have Jeff Hardy in there. He comes in, and then they had Rob Van Dam. He wins the title at Slammiversary, good and great, grand and wonderful. Then Jeff Hardy turns to a Bound for Glory. I mean, I love the Bound for Glory series. I mean, the 2010 was pretty interesting. I mean, we had a triple threat match with Ken Anderson. The tag team division was really good. And then after a while, it just got kind of stale. 2011 was a bad year for TNA, and I really didn't, care for TNA in 2011 at all, because they had that, the lame TNA angle, and then Sting got Hulk Hogan, and he made him turn face and all, and then thank God the TNA angle with Immortal had ended. And then, I like the Bobby Roode James Storm thing, and ladies and guys, I'm not, and don't click on this video because I'm talking about storylines. I'm gonna get to the other things that happened recently and all. Just later, just keep watching if you'd like. But James Storm and Bobby Roode was a great angle. I mean, they were a great tag team in Beer Money. I mean, if you don't like them, that's your preference. But I think everybody loved Beer Money. And Bobby Roode and James Storm, he said he was the leader of the Selfish Generation. He said it was the it factor. He spit in Dixie Carter's face and everybody else. He had a great title reign. And, in 2012, I thought TNA was way better than WWE. I thought they were great until Bound for Glory was over. And then the Aces and Eights storyline really kicked in the gear. I was a huge TNA fan. I could not wait to tune in on to TNA when they had guys like Bobby Roode in the title reign. I know they had that lame AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Kazarian, and what was her name? I can't remember. I don't know. But that, and then the Dixie Carter angle and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that was lame. But Austin Aries winning the title, hello, that's awesome. That's amazing. Kurt Angle and AJ Styles were tag team champions. I mean, they were putting on really good shows. Samoa Joe wasn't doing much of anything. There's a lot of things going on. And then Bound for Glory hit, and then they had Devon. Oh yeah, they had Joey Ryan and Al Snow, but forget about it. But then they had a lot of good stuff with, what was that? Oh yeah, Bound for Glory, they had TNA and Bully Ray. I mean, TNA and Bully Ray. They had, Sting and Bully Ray. I mean, they were a great tag team. And just kidding, they're not a great tag team. But they teamed up, and I was kind of really excited for Bully Ray to turn face. I mean, I was a Bully Ray fan, as him as a singles competitor, and the way he reinvented himself. I really liked that. And then they unmasked Devon, and then they brought him in the next night. He cut the promo. He's like, "Well, I think all of you people need to shut up." And then there it is. I mean, there goes all the heat and then they promote all this Sandy stuff, and that's fine, great. I'm not saying don't do that, but like WWE didn't do it until like WrestleMania 29. But then after that, I mean, it was like the Bully Ray wedding. Jeff Hardy wins the title, faces Austin Aries and Bobby Roode in a triple threat. He faced Austin Aries at Turning Point. AJ Styles went away. Storm hasn't been doing anything. All these guys who haven't been doing anything at all. They haven't really been pushing anybody. Hopefully they're not pushing anybody. Just kidding. This is a stupid reference. Pushing. I'm not like pushing a guy off the cliff. But anyway, it was. I mean, Jeff Hardy is the title. I mean, he brings in a lot of revenue. I mean, he sells a lot of merchandise. Don't get me wrong. But I'd rather see Austin Aries as the title. I mean, ratings were pretty good and they were up. But then when they had Jeff Hardy, they thought it was going to be doing the same, but like 2 times more. But it didn't happen. And then they had the whole wedding, and then Taz was the Aces and Eights thing. That was pretty. I mean, I liked that when Taz did that, but it really didn't have no loophole to it. And then it locked down face versus face until Devon hands Bully Ray the hammer, and bam, there goes Jeff Hardy's knocked out cold, so to say. And then 1, 2, 3, Bully Ray's the champion. We had a boring title reign, and then we get into financial problems. Then we get into Sting bringing back the Main Event Mafia because Bully Ray defeated Sting at Slammiversary 2013 and all. With a foregone conclusion, they need somebody. I mean, Sting is bringing back the Main Event Mafia, and then they bring in Quentin Rampage Jackson. Dixie Carter is blinded by the fact that TNA's next savior is Quentin Rampage Jackson. She thinks that he's going to bring him a lot more money. They're going to promote Bellator, and then Bellator is going to do the same. But I'm sorry, MMA fans don't like professional wrestling, and a lot of professional wrestling fans don't give a crap about MMA, because I do not like UFC. I hate UFC. Sorry. But, and Dixie Carter thinks it's going to be so great. Quentin Rampage Jackson is going to bring a lot of those MMA fans over, like Brock Lesnar. They want to do things that WWE is doing. And half the people that are in TNA are WWE alumnus. Really? Jeff Hardy. Top heel, Bully Ray. You know, I give up. I give up with TNA. And then when they bring in Rampage Jackson, they're paying him so much money. They're paying Hulk Hogan. They're paying freaking Sting. They're paying Kurt Angle, and they're paying Jeff Hardy, and then they're paying Rampage Jackson, and they're too blinded to know that they were a wrestling company that started on having great wrestling matches like the old TNA was, and they released Joey Ryan, Taylor Hendricks, Bruce Pritchard, D'Lo Brown. You know, they released Jesse Sorensen, Joey Ryan, and more. There's, Matt Morgan, Crimson, a lot of those other guys that had potential. They didn't use them right. Like Matt Morgan attacked Jeff Hardy and didn't even do anything. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Not at all. And one little reason, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And then I thought that I was gonna be done with TNA. This past Thursday, we have the August 1 warning. It was a compelling angle that I was kind of getting behind, and I'm glad that they didn't wait about 4 weeks, because I would have been more disappointed, and the YWC would be tearing up TNA. Oh yeah, Chris Sabin wins the TNA World Title. Everybody's just jumping around and jumping for joy for some odd reason, because TNA is giving a new guy like Chris Sabin to say he deserves it. Well, Chris Sabin, do you hear anybody going crazy and jumping for joy like they did in Austin Aries like last year? No, Chris Sabin is not a big draw for the company. I'm sorry, whatever you say, he's not believable as a champion. Tell me that Bully Ray, a 285 to 300 pounder, can lose, with a hammer, but can lose to Chris Sabin clean. That's like a 185 pounds to 220. I don't get it at all. The X Division sucks. Greg Marchulo, and then they have all these triple threat matches with Zema Ion. I thought it was no weight limits. It's no limits. And then they put the 225 rule because Eric Bischoff is the head of creative. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. Quote me. Now, like I was about to say, August 1 warning. I thought it could be somebody. John Morrison, Bob Holly, for all I care. Somebody different. But yet, we get Tito Ortiz. Tito Ortiz. And it was the worst acting job I've ever seen. I'm really interested in Hardcore Justice with the, the 10-man tag team match, and the loser gets fired, basically. They get showed the door, which is the door right there, actually. I'm just kidding, but if somebody walked in, a teenage superstar walked in my house and was like, you can't leave. I'm just kidding, I'm not a psycho freak. But anyway, I am pretty excited for that. But then the lights go off, and then 2 seconds later, they're nothing like WWE, by the way, with their timing and execution. No, they're not. And then all of a sudden, you hear the dim lights, and then that, music that nobody cares about, and the crowd was dead silent. There was nothing there, no pop. And I didn't even know who that was at first until I saw his facial expressions, and then, Tito Ortiz, I'm Tito. And then Mike Tenay acting like it's a shocker. What? What? Are you kidding me? Is this Tito Ortiz? Tito Ortiz does this. Rampage Jackson, Kurt Angle does his great acting, push you back forward. Hey, you can't hit him. I know you have an MMA fight with him, but no, you can't. Hey, stop. And then Anderson's going like a retard. TNA, and then Kurt Angle gets arrested for DWI. Anyway. That's it. TNA, get your act together. You won't even be in business for another year. I'm calling it right now. Get your act together. This is the return of Codebreaker 146. Leave a like rating if you liked this video. If you didn't like it, go ahead and dislike it. I'm sorry. Anyway, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and join the power trip today. Anyway, peace out, Codebreaker 146. Thank you for the Shout Out Wrestling Teen and Anything Goes show. Means a lot. And peace. Love you guys.